Hello family and friends and fellow YouTubers, it's Kim here from Kim's Country Corner, and today I'm out at the Hancock Homestead and I am getting ready to make a diaper cake. This will actually be the third diaper cake that I have made, and I've done a video on each one of them now. And my very first diaper cake that I made, that video actually has hundreds of thousands of views, which I'm very grateful for. But that's not actually my best cake, to tell you the truth, because I have learned a few tricks along the way and have gotten better at this. And you know what they say, practice makes perfect. So anyway, I'm going to share with you my step-by-step plan on how to do a diaper cake. So let's go through some of the ingredients that you're going to need to do this diaper cake. And the first thing that you will need are the diapers, of course. And of course they can be any kind of diaper. There's not a particular brand that I recommend, but I do recommend size 1. Whatever brand you get, I do recommend the size 1. Okay, the next thing that you will need is a roll of paper towels. Now, you don't actually need the paper towels. What you need is the cardboard tubing inside the paper towels. And you can get a cardboard tubing from like gift wrap. I don't usually have these just laying around, so I usually just go ahead and buy a small roll of paper towels. And then I go ahead and just leave the paper towels on the roll as a filler. Now what this cardboard tubing is going to do is it's going to be put in the middle to act as a stabilizer between your different layers to keep them from shifting. So that will be your next item that you need. Okay, then after the diapers and the paper towels, you're going to need something to put the cake on. And I have just a cake board. Now, another thing that I found useful are these round cookie plates that you can get like at Dollar General for $1, you know, and they're just round metal cookie plates, and they're about the perfect size too. So you could get something like that they could reuse. Well, I wasn't able to find one this year, so I just went ahead and got one of the smaller cake boards. And you kind of want your cake board to match your theme, and my theme this time is pink, which, let me tell you that when you do get ready to start a diaper cake, it is a good idea to have a theme in mind. And usually it's a color theme. So like the first child, I didn't know what the sex was going to be, so I went with the color yellow. And then the second cake I did, we knew it was going to be a boy, so I went with the color theme blue. And this time we know it's going to be a girl, so I'm doing a pink cake. And so it's a good idea to have your color theme in mind. Okay, so after the cake board then, you're going to need some fasteners. And there's about 4 different kinds of fasteners that you're going to need. The first fastener that I have found that works best are these little bitty ponytail holders that you can find in the hair section. For like little girl ponytails, okay? And then the next thing you're going to need are some medium-sized rubber bands. And then the next thing you're going to need are some large rubber bands. Now, I'll be quite honest, I have a hard time finding the large rubber bands, and I don't always want to just order them. So I use these headbands from the hair section, and the mother-to-be can always use these later on for her own hair, but they're large enough and they stretch and they do the job, and you don't have to buy like a whole pack of large rubber bands, which are hard to find. You can just buy a set of 2 of these. You need at least 3 of these, and this time I found 2 sets of 2, so I have 4. I'll have an extra one. But anything extra that I don't use on the cake, I just put into the box, and I give the box to the mother-to-be to use at her discretion. Okay, And then the last kind of fastener you're going to need is you're going to need some string, ribbon, yarn, something to tie items on with. Okay? So those are my fasteners. Tiny rubber bands, medium-sized rubber bands, large rubber bands or hairband, and then string to tie stuff on with. I also like to use my glue gun to hold my ribbon together. Some people use two-sided tape. You will need something to fasten your ribbon together. Okay, so then that leads me to the next thing, and that is the ribbon. And usually you want enough ribbon that you're going to put around 3 rows of your cake. I would probably say 3 feet maybe. I think they come in 36-inch rows, and that would be enough. And then of course you want your color to match your color theme. Alright, so make sure that your ribbon matches your theme. Alright, then after that you'll want to buy some decorations to put on the cake. And these decorations are going to be things that the mother can use for herself or for the baby. And the first thing I usually look for are the little travel cases of the different shampoos, lotions, baby wipes, those kind of things. Now I do not leave them in the pouch though. I take them out so that I can use them individually as decorations. So I have shampoo, lotion. This set did not come with baby powder, but you can find it in the travel section where they have the little shampoos and little deodorants and stuff. They will oftentimes have little bottles of baby powder. Okay, and then I have baby wipes. I will usually buy a set of the hairbrush, comb, tweezers, nasal swabbers. Another good decorating are the pacifiers. Okay, and then some other items that I usually like to look for are the bath sets and the hat and sock sets. And these sets I can even find at Dollar General. But like this is the bath set, and it has a hooded bath towel, washcloths, and a bunny mitten in there, wash mitten. And then the hat set has pink hat, a little white decorative hat, and then 2 pairs of socks. I also found these extra socks that I'm going to include. And these little shoes, my grandson found these little shoes, and he wanted them included in his cousin's cake. So we're going to put those on there. And then a rattle, a toy of some sort. Okay, and then a ribbon of some sort. Okay, so these are just some suggestions as to things to use. You don't have to use those particular decorations. You can come up with your own, but those are a few ideas of what to look for to decorate the cake. All right, so let's get started making this cake. Okay friends, so let's start putting together this diaper cake. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to roll all of your diapers. And you do that by taking the open section and rolling it inward, like so. Okay? And then after you get it rolled, you're going to take one of those little girl-sized rubber bands and you're going to put it around the diaper to hold it into place. Okay? And you can do all of this ahead of time. Alright, then after you get all of your diapers individually rolled, then you're going to be making 2 different sets. You're going to be making a set of 7. See, I have 1 diaper in the middle and then 6 going around it, and then you're going to put one of those middle-sized rubber bands around, okay? And that's going to be for the bottom layer. And then for the middle layer, you're going to be making rolls of 5. So you have 2 and then 3, and then you put a rubber band around those. And you will do, let's see, 6 rows of the 7, and then you will do 5 rows of the 5, okay? So the 7 goes on your bottom layer and the 5s go on your second layer, and then you'll use individual ones for your third layer. Alright? Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper towel roll, you're going to put it in the middle as such, and then you're going to take your groups of 7 and you're going to put it around the base. Okay? Now I'm going to zoom you guys in a little bit so you can actually see me working the cake here. Alright, so you have your roll of paper towels in the center. You're going to take your groupings of 7 and you're going to go around the outside of the row. Okay, so just like that, there are 6 rolls of 7. Alright, then you're going to take one of your big rubber bands, and this part is not easy, I will tell you that, okay? But you're going to get it so it goes around all of these little bitty rows. Alright, there we go, see? Now, of course this doesn't look real good right now, but what you're going to do is you're just going to do some adjustments. You're going to do some patting and spreading and laying your rubber band straighter like that, okay? Your hairband you kind of want to be in the center of those diapers, okay? Then after you get that done, you're going to want to go back with individual diapers and tuck them in where you have gaps. Okay, that's why I said it doesn't hurt to have some extras laying around. There's usually about 4 different gaps you want to fill in. So, there we go. You just want it to look nice and round, and you want that hairband to be as close to the center as possible. Alright, so there's my first row. Let's do the next row. On this row, you're going to take the 5 and you're going to put the 2 towards your paper towel. Like so. And then once again, you're going to take one of the headbands, or the large rubber bands, whichever you're going with, you're going to put it around that row. You kind of have to use your hand, your arm to hold down the rows as you're stretching. Okay, then after you get that row on, once again, make sure your headband's kind of in the middle. Go back, fill in any gaps that you might see. So that you have a nice round edge. Alright, there's your second row. And then the top row, this row is not easy because you have to do individuals here. So you put them around the top as such. I mean, it's not hard, it's just very awkward. Okay? So you're going to go ahead and you're going to put all of those around the top. Okay, and then once again you're going to use your headband to hold those in the circle. Okay? Like such. Alright, so there's your 3 layers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put ribbon to cover up those headbands. Alright, so if you look, I made it so that all of my ends come together at the same point in the back. Alright, now the next thing is to decorate. And you need a cake topper. Now, a lot of times I will use a rattle for my cake topper. However, this time I could not find a pink rattle, and my daughter, who is throwing the shower, is decorating in pinks and florals, so we're going to use flowers as our cake topper. Okay, so now comes the fun part, and that is to finish decorating the cake. Alright, so I'm going to take my floral pieces, I'm going to put them into the top as my topper. We have this white hydrangea. Then I'm going to go back and put some of these little pink roses around it to add some color. Okay, so I know that this is going to be the front of my cake. So I'm going to make sure that I put my bow up here in the front. Okay, and I don't know, I don't know whether I want it on the very top. I think I'm going to put it up here on the very top. Okay. This bow is actually a hair ribbon, and I'm going to put just a little bit of hot glue on the clasp part to hold it on. A lot of times that glue will come off later, and then she can use that hair bow if she wanted to. Alright, so let me get that glued on. Kind of looks like a butterfly. It'll go nicely with the theme. There we go. Alright. Now, as I decorate, some things I will just tuck in to the side, like the little shampoos and the lotions. You can just simply tuck those into those ribbons to hold them in place like such. And whatever I put on one side, I try to put on the other side. Okay, I usually decorate my front first. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish decorating this and then and tying things on, and then whenever I'm finished, I'll come back and give you a look. Alright. Okay friends, so here is the girl diaper cake that I just finished. I started out with the flowers as my cake topper, but then I found this little pair of booties that I had gotten, and since they were sitting on cardboard, I just trimmed around them, and then I took a glue gun and just put a little dab of hot glue and glued it to that one silk flower. Okay, so then after my cake topper, I went down the front here and I added a bow, and then I tied on these two little toys because I just thought they were adorable and would add a nice touch to the front for decoration. So there's a little purse rattle here, and then just a little candy rattle down here. It's not real candy, it just looks like candy. And so anyway, I tied on the rattles. I tucked in some hand sanitizer and baby powder. And then on this side, I tucked in the hat, the mittens, and the pacifiers. And then to balance it out, on this side, I have the baby powder, the wash mitt with the washcloths, and the body shampoo. And then I have the hairbrush and the comb. And then on this side, to balance out that, I tied on the little booties with the socks. Okay? And then you want to make sure that you do the back. Now you don't have to do as much on the back, but what I did on my back was I used this big thing of the face and body wipes to cover up my connections where I had put my ribbon together, and then I used this Desitin to cover up the connection there, and then I just decorate it with the leftover flowers and the nasal syringe. But anyway, so there it is, and I think it turned out pretty good. Okay friends, so here is the girl diaper cake that I just finished, and I think it turned out pretty good. And I hope the recipient will appreciate it and be able to use everything that's included in it. They are a lot of fun to do, and they don't really take very much time. You just have to give a little pre-thought to everything that you need. and then just put it together. So if you liked this video, could you please give me a thumbs up? And if you want to know more about what's going on in my corner of the world, hit that subscribe button to Kim's Country Corner. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.